D Machine released November 13th, 2020 with one main goal: bring the community back to zombies after the failure of Black Ops 4. D Machine was the only launch map for Cold War, meaning Treyarch only had one opportunity at launch to get the community back, and they pulled out all the stops. Come along as we discuss how D Machine achieved its goals while appealing to all areas of the community, despite a few bugs here and there. Real quick, before we get into it, my analytics show that about 99.6% of you are not subscribed. It would be amazing if you guys could hit that button and support the channel. Also, while you're down there, if you like this video, make sure to press the like button as it helps out the channel as well. With that said, let's get into D Machine. D Machine went back to basics and brought back the first zombies map, Nocturne Toten. This version of Noct has been fully reimagined and expanded from its original version. D Machine takes place in Poland towards the end of the Cold War in 1983 during the winter. The main and only building on the surface is brightly littered with graffiti on the inside and out. The inside of the building is also fairly empty with some military equipment scattered across the room. The building also has some damage in areas, allowing the players to go onto the roof to survive against the zombies. On the outside of the building, the map boasts a large military plane that has crashed into the main courtyard, as well as a few other military vehicles scattered throughout. However, hidden beneath the surface, things begin to take a dark and twisted turn. The underground facility is damaged and covered in blood throughout, with a story to tell. This facility was previously used as a research facility by the Germans, in which the majority of their work revolved around a particle accelerator located in the middle of the facility. This section is going to be interesting. With D Machine being the first zombies map for Cold War, we need to talk about new or changed mechanics in the game as a whole, as well as the overall gameplay feel in D Machine specifically. For the game as a whole, we are not going to go into every little detail, but simply the major features that directly affect the gameplay. Probably the largest change that Cold War made was the removal of a set playable zombies crew. This change allowed players to play as whatever character or random action hero they chose. This affects how the story of the maps in Cold War are told. Cold War continued on the created class system first introduced in Black Ops 4 Zombies with a few major changes. First, Call of Duty removed the perk selection in the created class and returned to the classic system of all perks being located on the map. The special weapons field from Black Ops 4 has been replaced with field upgrades in Cold War. These field upgrades are acquired over time, very similar to the special weapons. The field upgrades directly affect the player as well as the zombies, giving the player special abilities. The final overall gameplay change Cold War implemented is salvage. There are two types of salvage: uncommon and rare. These are both dropped by zombies and can be used to upgrade weapons and armor, as well as spent on equipment at the buyable table. D Machine works to make an enjoyable experience for all players, from high rounders with the introduction of score streaks to speedrunners with a still quite active community, and finally the casual player with an overall open map layout. The wonder weapon in D Machine is completely new, but feeds off an existing formula that works quite well. The Die Shockwave is an elemental weapon with a base model, as well as 4 upgradable versions. These versions are unlockable through completing tasks similar to elemental wonder weapons in older titles. One of the few things that separates this wonder weapon from others is how many different ways you can obtain the base model. This weapon is obtainable in the box, through side Easter eggs, as trial rewards, and through the completion of a soul box. With D Machine being the first map of the Dark Aether storyline, it was tasked with laying the groundwork for an entire new storyline, and this all starts before the player even starts a match. In 1943, Project Endstation was established in Poland with the intent of creating atomic weapons for the Germans in World War II by using a particle accelerator. This task was assigned to Ulrich Vogel, the director of Project Endstation. One day in 1944, while running a test on the particle accelerator, the device would malfunction and create a breach into the Dark Aether, leading to an infestation of undead soldiers. 5 days after this event, Vogel noticed the particle accelerator was powering itself, and through several tests discovered the Dark Aether exists as a parallel universe to their own. In 1945, with the Germans' defeat nearing, Vogel proposed an escape plan to send an army of soldiers through the Dark Aether to return to another Project Endstation facility in Berlin in the future. On January 27th, this plan was initiated, and the personnel would evacuate the area as Vogel oversaw the army enter the Dark Aether. 1 week after this site was abandoned, the Soviet Union discovered the facility overrun by zombies and a still active particle accelerator. Determined to contain the breach, the Soviets assigned Kazimir Zykov to be sealed inside the facility to deactivate the accelerator. Even though he was successful in closing the breach, Zykov would disappear in the process. Several years later, in 1983, a Soviet Union group named Omega Group went to Project Endstation to attempt to reactivate the particle accelerator to harness the power of the Dark Aether. Lieutenant Orlov and his colleague were tasked with reactivating the particle accelerator. While they were successful in reactivating the accelerator, they would both die in the process. Also during this time, several small dimensional tears opened across the world. To handle the new threat caused by these tears, the CIA formed a new agency called Requiem. Requiem's investigations, as well as their information provided by a German Samantha Maxis led them to the discovery of the facility. This takes us to the start of D Machine. Requiem personnel are sent to the facility with a goal to contain the Dark Ether breach. Along the way, the team must turn on the power in the facility, reactivating the particle accelerator. After the accelerator is powered on, an anomaly is created in the middle of the facility. This anomaly is a gateway into the Dark Ether. After returning from the Dark Ether, the team is directed to permanently disable the particle accelerator. Along the main quest, many tasks cause a ghost version of Vogel to appear. During this time, the player is listening to events that previously happened at the facility. The next thing that the team does is capture a megaton inside of a device from the Germans that was created to change a zombie back into a human. While the megaton is in the machine, it breaks out and is transformed into Lieutenant Orlov. After this, Orlov joins the Requiem team and helps them to destroy the particle accelerator. Before it is destroyed, however, Orlov instructs the team to leave the area, and he will finish the job. D Machine ends with the player flying away in a helicopter as the destruction of Project End Station is seen in the background. D Machine. A map that didn't just introduce a new zombies experience, but redefined what zombies could be. It took the simplicity of Nocturne and Toten and expanded it into something bigger, more accessible, and more replayable than ever before. D Machine set the tone for all Cold War zombies maps. But more importantly, it laid out the foundation for the Dark Ether storyline. A story that starts here with a broken facility, a failed experiment, and a doorway into something much worse.